We're back. We're here. We're both here.
Yes.
As Chuck and Pigfly both said, here we go. Here we go for real. It's happening. Welcome everybody to episode 116 of Prep
Wow.
Talk Live. We're getting up. It feels like we're getting closer to 200 faster than we were getting closer to 100 at this point. But we're doing it. We're making it happen. Welcome to a Wednesday evening. I'm Casey with Cascadia Dispatch. Joining me, as always, except for last week, but that's okay because things happen, and sometimes I don't make it.
Yeah.
It's Tup, the Urban Prepper. Tup, what is going on from your parking garage bunker setup?
Yeah. The bunkers we're all ready to go over here. So yeah, I don't know. Things are going well. Just keep prepping and working on a few different projects. So all in all, pretty good.
I love
School
that you're
starting.
either in a yeah. I love that you're either in a parking cone or a parking garage. It's
Yeah,
one or
one of
the
the
other, but
well,
it's
the
all
parking
parking related.
cone is no more. That's been disassembled. So like you'll never see the
Oh,
parking cone again.
that is unfortunate.
So
That
it's
is
kind of
unfortunate.
a bummer. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
Well,
like having the concrete wall in the back.
it
It's
is.
very
It's a
urban.
good look.
Yeah.
It's a good look. I love that you found a broom closet or something
Yes.
to, have this happen. And that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, welcome. So you were saying school. Yeah, school has happened
Schools.
in
Yeah.
full force. And we've done this through the school year a couple of times, but it feels like every time it just throws everything up and it takes a while to like get it all back in order.
Yeah, there's definitely back to school nights and all those things like right around this time, and
Yeah.
yeah, so uh, but yeah, like, I'm trying to. I was meaning to have like my kids' EDC bags updated, and then all of a sudden school's already started, so now I gotta play catch up mode.
Well, yeah, well, and I don't know for your kids' school. So for our school, there was a bunch of new rules that had been rolling out over the last year. So for one, like cell phones now have to be like in their lockers the whole day. They can't even have them out like in passing periods or um at lunchtime. Like it's from bell to bell. Um and for the most part, they don't take their well, our son takes his backpack with him during the day. High school apparently lockers are not much of a thing, but
Okay.
in middle school they keep their backpacks in their lockers. So like their EDC and emergency kits and everything end up in their lockers as opposed to with them.
Yeah. Yeah, and my daughter's like more in like the grade school level, so they have like their cubbies. I think they're called
Yeah,
cubbies still, where they she has her stuff in there, and I think when she gets to like middle school, she'll have a locker. My son has a locker in high school, so yeah, it's kind of changes some EDC perspective stuff a bit.
yeah. It's a different mindset because yeah, so we had everything geared up for them to basically have with their backpack, and their backpack would go with them from class to class. So even if it was in a cubby, it would be close by,
Yeah,
or if it was. But now that it's in their locker, I'm trying to figure out like, okay, uh, how do we come up with that sort of thing? Our daughter does not love like sling bags and that sort of stuff, so we're trying to kind of come up with some happy medium, something so that they can have some stuff throughout the day. Um, so yeah, it's a different world.
yeah,
It
we
feels
did a
like.
back to school night at my daughter's school. I went to that one. My wife was on doing something else, and so I'm checking. They had some new desks over there, so I wanted to check the earthquake proof of these things, and I'm
Hmm.
inspecting it like from the prepper lens.
The chat has already got R rated. It's verging on NC-17 or something.
Oh,
I don't know.
what happened?
There's a whole
I don't see anything. I
uh
see
yeah,
Chuck, I see pigs fly.
I was not assuming, and then there have been some comments that I'm like, wow, those should have come from us. Is what should have
Oh, wow.
happened. Like the fact
I'll
they're
keep an eye
talking
on it.
about grandchildren and great grandchildren, and
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
there's
saw that.
there is some, yeah, that's fantastic. I was like, oh, okay, cool. It's a party over there, is what I'm
Yeah.
saying. It's a
Yeah,
party, and they're having stuff.
we just host this live stream so they could have a private chat room to
Exactly. We invite you all, anyone watching on the replay or whatever, come join the live stream so you can chat in the chat room. You don't have to watch the show. You just participate in the chat room, is basically what happens. Um, yeah, so how are you thinking about the new like updates? Or are you kind of still mulling that over and
Well, updates for school stuff, you mean, or yeah,
yeah.
so well, for EDC, I want to upgrade my daughter. She changed her backpack on me, so now it changes like my approach that I had because she wanted the rolling backpack, and I was originally planning something
Hmm.
different for her for based off of her previous backpack. I'm trying to. She also has one of those the desks, the student desk that you open up and it has the stuff in there, and I feel like
Yeah.
I need to prep it out a little bit. With some emergency stuff. So I scoped it out last night and I got kind of the proper dimensions and everything. And so I have a I think I could have some kind of like caches in there and different mini modules. I think so. I'll be exploring. I'll be exploring that this over the next couple days.
I love that you went to back to school night with a tape measure and a level
No,
and stud
that's how
finders
preppers
and things.
roll.
You're like,
That's how we roll.
yeah, that is. I'm sure you just keep that on your person at all
Yeah.
times, so it's not even a thing.
Well, during
Part of the prepper
the
bulge.
the prepper meetup, we I think it was John. I think John was the one that had
Mhm.
that tape measure as part of his EDC, which was pretty cool. So
Yeah, yeah,
so
exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
because you never know when you're going to need to measure
You
something.
never know.
You always want to have accurate measurements regarding how things
Yeah, so but
are.
I was reviewing it from, okay, let's see the cubby location, then I was also looking at it from a security standpoint and, like, okay,
Mhm.
like, the how like, it's our the school that they go to is pretty locked down. You have to have badge access to get into multiple sections of it, but I was also looking at the which way the door, opens and closes and how, like, the what the hinge system is like because I have different stuff for that, so, these are
Are
things
you
that
now?
preppers think about and no one else does.
Yes. Is this a? I'm not gonna get. Is it public school or private school?
It's a private school.
Okay. Do they have like a safety committee sort of thing that you can be a
Yes.
part of?
I
The
could. I'm not a part of it though, but maybe I
okay.
should. But I volunteer for some other things on it, but
Yeah.
they do a pretty good job. So I don't think they don't need me right now. So,
Pink Fly says she carries a 24-inch measuring tape in her purse always,
nice. Yeah.
which is fantastic. Um, yeah, I don't know. I've been playing around with the new iOS 26 updates to
Hmm.
everything and some of the
Yeah.
measuring things and stuff. So I know that there is like a measuring app component to iPhone. So I'll have to look and see what that looks
Oh,
like.
I have to check that out. Yeah.
I know it's got leveling and stuff, but I'm pretty sure you can actually like look at a room and say point here, and it will
So
actually give you
you
the
use your
dimensions.
phone and then it'll get the dimensions of the room. That's awesome.
Yeah. Um, so I had to do it. We had to do it originally with when we had the pipe break at the house, and we're trying to get like dimensions for the insurance claim and stuff. And it was
Yeah.
like, oh, figure out the corners of the room, and it does all that sort of fun stuff.
Very cool.
But um, so yeah, so and we had a to your point about kids and everything. We were having a conversation last night with our kids because there's big holes like in the ceiling of the house right now until we get everything patched back together. Um, and our youngest was asking like, okay, so what happens if the ceiling collapses or whatever? And it kind of spun out into this like earthquake, fire whole thing. And it was an interesting um, opportunity to kind of go back through with them like, okay, if there's a fire, grab this, get out the window, we'll come get you. Here
Hmm.
are meetup points. You have your helmet, you have your shoes in your room for that sort of stuff. um, how often do you kind of redo that kind of setup with your kids? Is that
You,
something that comes up like routinely, or is that something that's just kind of
you mean for
here or
like
there?
planning type, like in
Yeah,
case of
like just
emergency type
reminders.
stuff?
Yeah, like reminder of like, hey, if something were to happen, we're gonna meet up over here.
Yeah, not as much as what I wish it was. I could barely get them to do much anything for prep wise. But we just reviewed some with all the AI stuff and everything. We did a review of like code words and stuff that we don't that one concern that we had was like an AI version of myself calling my someone in the family or saying, so I need this money or something like that,
Yeah.
and it would be so real. I mean, we have a lot of videos out here. It'd be very easy to train something like
Oh
that,
yeah.
but hopefully that it wouldn't know certain code. So we recently reviewed some code words, but as far as like meetup locations, we're probably due for a refresh on that.
So that is a really interesting thing because talked about thought about code words for like if you had somebody that was picking a kid up from school or something
Yes, we have that too.
and making sure that's the case. And we have code words or code emojis for if they're out with their friends or they're at a party or something and they need it's the like parents crash
Mhm.
alert where it's an emoji that looks completely innocuous, but we know it means they're in an awkward situation. They need us to come in and get them and be the parents who are square and just need them to come home and it's all our fault or whatever, but it's really that like they're uncomfortable and it's a dangerous spot or something.
Oh wow.
Um, and so we've kind of talked about that, but I hadn't thought about the AI voice, like having somebody call and pretend to be me to them or something.
Yeah.
So that is a really interesting one.
Like, it's only a matter of time before, like, we have, like, some FaceTime or something like that, and it looks just like me, talks
Hmm.
just like me, but maybe is asking for something that's like, "Oh, I don't think dad would say that or ask that for," uh, so at
That
that
is a
point, we
really interesting one.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We've done that a little bit with um, there have been some people that have gotten a hold of our youngest phone at school
Mhm.
and would send text messages like to me during the day, acting like they were our youngest, and I would ask them questions that only like they would know the answers to in order to make sure that like because sometimes they would ask for money and sometimes they would be like, hey, can I have a friend come over or can you
Yeah.
bring food to this place? And I would be like, what did you have for lunch 2 days ago or something? And then you can kind of weed out that it's not someone. But it's real. The AI thing, I had not thought of that, and we will need to put something like that in place.
And you put the AI one in place, and I'll rehash them on, like, meetup spots for, like, earthquakes and fires and stuff. I'm
Yeah.
working on another earthquake video, so, like, that's one I have to actually film something for that, so it's about
Hmm.
time, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. It was kind of interesting. We were yeah the way that it comes up, and then also um, we had some conversations too about like sentimental items in the house and in case of an emergency, like what would you grab? And it was like, well, we would grab you and your siblings and the cat, and we would get out and we'll figure out whatever is there later. Um, but it did bring up this idea of like trying to find maybe sentimental items that you could co-locate.
Yeah,
So
that's a good
if there's um, there's a blanket that our youngest is always had and it's her safety blanket, and we actually found duplicates of it. We found um, copies basically, and so we did it for when it was in the washing machine when she was little. Okay, well you could have the cousin blanket or whatever, um, but now we've talked about okay, well maybe we take one of those copies and you put the copy somewhere else or you rotate them so at least at this age, okay, if something were to happen, you don't feel like you're losing all of these sentimental items. We've kind of
yeah.
put them other places.
I wonder, should those be pre-staged, or or just you have like a dump bag type thing where, hey, we
Mm.
have an hour to get out of here. Grab your bug out bags, grab your medication, and anything that you want put into this bin is, or would it already be in the bin or the duffel bag or something like that?
Yeah, so I think for what I was thinking about more was, uh, if you have time, if you've got an hour or something,
Yeah,
okay, we can grab and do whatever. More of, okay, if there was a fire and you're just getting out of the house, okay, do we take, for example, let's say there are five sentimental items that you have that are like yours forever or whatever. Do we take two of those and put them at like uh, grandparents' house and
oh,
three of
okay,
them stay here? So if there's a fire and we lose three, we still have two sort of an
So
idea.
duplicates, yeah. Yeah, because definitely in a fire, you don't wanna be, "Hey, let me get my, my
Yes.
grandpa's harmonica," or something like,
Yeah, exactly. Let me grab all of the stuffed
that
animals and all of this.
yeah, you
Like,
can see yeah, that's a tricky one. I think it's probably good to have some, like, off-site caches of those type of things. Like, we have that for
mhm.
documents, like, for stuff in safes and stuff, but not, like, for
Yeah,
items.
yeah. Which I think, we've done I think a pretty decent job at this point of doing, like, a lot of people are like, oh, well, I would grab photo albums. I would grab family videos or whatever. I feel like I've taken that off the list by digitizing
Yeah.
all of it. So everything that we have that's paper, I have it encrypted, in clouds and hard drives and wherever. Um, so I wouldn't need to go and grab those things because we can regenerate those
Mhm.
elsewhere. But the things that you can't regenerate then would be, I think, the next thing to try to figure out, like, how do we keep those safe or memorable.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a good way of doing that.
Mhm.
'Cause I have, like I'm redoing our, like, part of, like, when we had the meetup was getting rid of a lot of stuff, and so, I because I'm restructuring, like, the bins that I store them in, and I'm wondering
Mhm.
if I need an empty bin, like the dump bin, like, like a anything
Yeah.
you wanna save has to fit in here
The,
type thing.
the panic, like the panic bin. So,
Yeah,
like,
something like that. I
in
didn't
the
consider
heat of the
that.
moment, you get that clarity, and you're like, "Oh shoot, I need to grab all of these things, or these things seem important right now. Okay, we
Yeah,
got to throw them somewhere." Um, so yeah, that would be an interesting. The dump bin idea is an interesting one.
yeah, because if you're bugging out, you're not, probably immediately gonna go backpack mode, you'll probably go in your vehicle and bug out. And
Yeah,
so that's why
exactly.
I'm thinking bins first, like, because you could stack them and everything like that and have them nicely
Yeah,
organized. But if you're on foot, then you're probably not going to be dragging some bin of grandma's heirlooms or anything like that.
yeah. You put it in like a rickshaw or something, and you
And
can,
a lot
like,
of bug out situations, like just because you're bugging out of your house doesn't mean you're like bugging out of the the town or something. If your house is on
yeah,
fire, it might just be going outside. Like so,
yeah. Um, yeah, I think
yeah,
in those sorts of situations, yeah, it's like a short term thing, but it's the next level um, of co-locating important things. So it's like, top priority, get all the people out. Next would be like, okay, documents and pictures and things that are irreplaceable. Okay, well, you can put them in safes, you can get copies, you can do all that sort of stuff. But then there are certain items that you're like, okay, there's no way to actually replace this thing if it was to be destroyed. So how do we mitigate the downside risk of
and I
some
wonder
sort of a
if
down?
does everyone just need to I know that, Atlas Survival Shelters has those kind of,
Hmm.
storage, like, for seeds and stuff like that, but
Yeah,
maybe you need to maybe everyone just needs to have this, like, underground closet type storage for their, like, their heirlooms and stuff that's always outside, so but that'll do for some emergencies, but, like, if it's a tsunami or something like massive flooding, it probably won't help,
oh yeah,
yeah, it kinda depends on the emergency.
yeah. It definitely is emergency dependent.
Yeah, so,
Because I've
like, for
also
like,
thought about.
I saw that NYC Bike was saying, like, isn't it better to have the bin already prepared? Well, I think some of these heirlooms you wanna see, like, on your bookshelf at home most of the
Yeah,
time, but then you don't always wanna have it in storage, but maybe some of them you have pre-stored and others you have on display.
yeah, or things like, like kid stuffed animals. Like, okay, they want to sleep with them every
Yeah,
night, whatever. So like you can't pack it, but like maybe instead of having 20 in their room, okay, you take five and you put them, whether it's in a bin or it's offsite, and they rotate or something like that. But like, then if something were to happen and the other ones were to go, you'd at least have something
yeah,
like that. And you can apply it to other things like, you know, like we had with the pipe break, we had a bunch of stuff from our wedding that was in this linen closet that
mhm,
got soaked. Um, and it was stuff like there were three bottles of wine that was the wine that we had at our wedding. So the water totally like ruined the labels and all that sort of stuff. Um, if we had just taken one of those bottles and put them, somewhere else, put it at our parents' house or whatever, then in that case, okay, yeah, we would still had it. It would have been ruined, but we would have at least had, a backup or something like that.
Yeah.
So it kind of plays with all of
Yeah, I
it.
think
But
the
but
redundancy thing is in redundancy with locations of redundant items is probably the way to go.
yeah, um,
Just
let's
take
see
a look
what
at the
else.
comments over here. Home restorations, 20-foot men with it's okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
Again, the chat room is wild, folks.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Um, so yeah, so and we had I'd say a couple of things uh with the pipe break. One is um definitely being mindful of like the items in your house, and I would actually even recommend to everybody talking to your insurance person about like how a claim happens, whether you need it or not, just being prepared for it. Because we've had to do it a couple of times. This time is very different than the last times, and it's just the way that their process works.
Mhm.
Um, but being mindful of like how the restoration is going to happen, what what coverages you had. Like there was a lot of conversation about if there was mold or not mold, and if we needed to leave the house or we could stay. Um, some policies don't have any coverage for any of that. And so if we would have had one of those policies, we would have been out of pocket for all of that. Luckily, we didn't need to leave the house. Luckily, we didn't have mold, um, but we didn't know that at the time. So that's another thing, just to kind of like reach out and talk to your people about like, hey, if this were to happen, what would actually happen, and then are we covered? Are we prepared for that eventuality?
Yeah. Yeah, we recently changed our homeowners insurance and like well, it like switched companies and then they had to update some things. So we had to like kind of think about we had to go through all the the earthquake and all the stuff to figure out okay what's what. But
Yeah.
we probably could do it in more detail, like what you're saying there for certain specific things. Hey, if I have a plumbing leak, what's so let's see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it would depend on your area, because like some, if it's hurricane or fire or whatever, but also for things like, okay, if a pipe breaks, like one of the quirky things is if a pipe breaks at your house, depending on how long the break happened, determines which type of coverage is
Oh
in
wow.
effect. So if it was under 12 days, it was an like short-term break, and we had all of the coverage for our house. If it was more than 12 days, it was called long-term seepage, and you needed a
Okay.
special writer, otherwise it wasn't covered at all. Luckily we had the writer, so it was more of a like, is it more or less? And it was less, so it didn't matter anyway. But initially they thought, oh, it's been longer and it would be a thing.
Yeah.
The other part to it too is they don't cover the repair. So they will cover the reconstruction and they will cover drying it out, but actually having a plumber come out and stop the leak, you have to pay for out of pocket.
Uh,
So that's just another thing of like making sure that you're like, oh, well, if this happens, how would I cover that?
yeah, plumbing emergencies always happen for us at like at the worst time, like when it's never on like business hours, and it's a. Fortunately, we have someone in the family that's a retired plumber, so he's always he saves the day on a few different things. But I see they're talking about bikers in the chat. Yeah, we yeah Dutch
Yeah.
bike flogger, NYC bike. Yeah, we're kind of the sons of anarchy of prepping in this chat room. This
Yeah. Yeah. We do all kinds of
we're pretty
fun
rough.
stuff.
Yeah,
And yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, there's some conversation
yeah, we
about
have some bikers.
insurance rates going up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, that's another thing. We also got which I have yet to fully hook up yet, but that's a this week project, is we got an AI auto water shut off. So we ended up having the whole house repiped because
Wow.
it was made with CPVC, which in the Pacific Northwest is apparently not a good thing, and it's brittle and it breaks all the time. So depending on when your house was made, if you have CPVC in your house, it's not great. So they came in, they pulled it all out, they put in new piping. But when they did that, we had them put in a Wi-Fi shut off. So it actually looks at your water usage, and then it can determine if there's a leak, and it'll
Oh,
send you an alert if there's a leak anywhere in your system. And you can turn off the water from your phone, or now we got like a main shut off that's more accessible that we can use too. Um, but yeah, so just more and more redundancies to try to minimize the damages.
that's awesome. Yeah, because I know that like uh, the water company could detect if you have some leak going on. They could look at,
Mhm.
oh, we think, and I'm not sure how I don't, they've been able to do that for long before AI, so I'm not sure how they were doing it, but that's cool that you could do it down more at the home level for that.
Yeah, yeah. It's also, I think, good for like managing like our water consumption and like being mindful of how much water we use and that sort of thing. But it's going to be interesting. So yeah, there's a whole thing about having to set up like running faucets so we can tell
Mm.
roughly what the usage is, and then it takes a little while. I think kind of like the Nest thermostats used to do, and some
Yeah.
of the like Google Homes and that sort of, where you would run it normal for like a week and it would kind of learn your pattern and then it would kind of go into auto mode.
Uh-oh.
Oh my goodness.
Wait, let me lower a
It's
button. Let me see.
yeah. Lower a button.
It's getting got hot in here.
Oh
Sutton
my
Sutton
goodness.
Sneeze has entered the chat room.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. The queen is here.
AI
um
shuts off because it knows better. Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
yes, that is definitely a thing that we kind of work through of like, okay, if it decides to shut it off, there's like a manual override. So we can, if the AI decides it's gonna shut everything off, like we can tell it no, sorry, and manually turn it on and unplug it from the wall, and it'll stop working. But
yeah, I think for like
um,
the water, the
yeah.
AI will take my wife's water temperature in the shower is way too hot for humans, but it would probably
Mhm.
auto detect that because I don't know about the lady seemed to be able to tolerate scalding temperatures for.
Yeah, that was another thing. We found out that the pressure, there's like a pressure reducing valve that was in our house that had failed. So the water pressure was like way higher than it was supposed to be, and the
Huh.
temperature was way hotter than it was supposed to be. Um, and so they fixed it. So now we have like decent water pressure, and we have like decent hot water. But
Okay.
it was much more extreme like a week ago, which we enjoyed. But
Yeah.
we'll get over it. Um,
So if
yes,
something
Moen has
water.
one called the Flow Shut Off. Yeah, we looked at that one. We ended up going with the Fin, mostly because that's what our plumber recommended. Um, but I think all of them are reasonably similar and good.
Yeah, in theory, it would be cool to have something like that, like especially if you're on vacation and you're not home to see that, and they could
Yeah,
auto detect that kind of thing. Hey, wait a second, they we no one's in the house right now. Why is this going? Like that would be handy.
yeah.
There's
I'm
also
I'm
fine lines.
Oh yeah, I'm kind of wondering too if there's a way, because I haven't spent much time with it because we've been dealing with everything else. Um, if you could set like a way, kind of like you can with an alarm system, where you're away, and so it's armed, knowing
Yeah,
that nobody's in there, as opposed to like when you're
yeah, probably.
home but you want it armed, it opens the outside doors, but not like the cameras inside or motion detectors or any of that. If there's a way to be like, I'm on vacation, if anything turns on, alert me because it means that there's a leak.
Yeah. I see. We have Brecky has joined the chat, which is.
Brecky's here. Yeah.
Do I lower another button for Brecky? I got to lower one more.
I don't know. I was thinking more going formal, but
It's getting
ladies and
hot.
gentlemen,
Getting hot in here.
the Prep Talk Live calendar will
Yeah.
be coming out
The
shortly
swimsuit
for
calendar is coming out
2026.
next year, 2026.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I fell into
I feel
bougie
like
Sutton's days. It's always bougie preparedness when we're talking about things. I mean, that's just kind
this
of our jam.
AI plumbing stuff is bougie prepping.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was thinking about getting I want to get the electric one that'll also tell you like how much electricity you're using, but we need an electrician for that, so that's another whole thing. But
What have we been
um,
missing? We're just kind of
oh
Brecky. We're just catching up on like school stuff and various
yeah,
prepping projects, organization for evacuation, and let's see, and now we're talking AI for water leaks for that type
Yes.
of emergency. That's basically what we've been going through.
We actually had like topics this week.
Yes,
We're actually like sticking
we're
to
kind of
them. We
yeah,
haven't
we're
talked
kind of
about t-shirts.
we
We
run a
haven't
tight ship.
talked
We run a tight ship here. It's
Yeah, things have wildly changed
yep.
since, episodes 112 and 111. Like it's a whole new
Well,
world in which
I
we
think
live.
we got into the AI talk because we were talking about having code words for your family just in case an
Yeah.
AI bot were to try to contact your family or something,
Mhm.
and they were asking for something suspicious, but it sounded just like you. So that's how we got into this.
Yeah. Um
Is that how you spell bougie?
I don't so here's my problem.
It's kind of up for
I
debate. Like,
want to have a yeah, I want to have a shirt bougie prep. I've got designs for it and all that sort of stuff. There are two different ways or four different ways of spelling bougie. When I looked into it. And it's not totally clear which one is relevant in the way that we want to use it and which one may be more culturally potentially insensitive, and I don't want to get canceled, so
yeah,
I have not actually like gone ahead and published the bougie prepper design.
yeah.
I have it though. I have all four versions, but I haven't done it yet.
Is it
It's
like how it's spelled one way in the UK and then the other way in the US type thing here?
kind of it's using different it has something to do with like the different um inflection of the shortening related to like bourgeoisie, because that's like the where it kind of comes
Yeah,
from. And so depending on like the accent, if it's got the J or the G, and whether it's like two E's or IE, actually like references different things. um at least that's what I have done in my research, and there was enough there to convince me that like I don't know this 100% either way, and it's not that important for me to accidentally get canceled.
yeah. I was asking.
Um,
I see we're talking about ChatGPT. Whether
yeah.
I was asking it the other day about the word. Let me see if I can find it. How they were spelling it.
Um,
They
yeah.
were doing it Boogie.
Yeah.
No, no, oh,
So
sorry. And
I,
then there's another one, the Bougie. So like ChatGPT even does multiple versions.
yeah. See, I'm saying, like, look, I may look like some guy who has a bunch of Legos and has no idea what he's talking about, but when it comes to certain things,
You're
I
right about
actually
that.
do do
Yeah,
my research. Yeah. Also, a bedazzled pepper jacket, I think would be fantastic.
that's good.
Also, like, I got that. I did that video on like the survival vest thing. I don't know, a few years ago or whatever. Um, that would have been fun to bedazzle with like all the pockets and things on
Oh,
it.
like the Scotty vest, or is that still around? Scotty vest. I
I
think
have
they
no
might be out
idea.
of
It
business now.
was
I don't know, but
yeah.
I
A
was at a my in-laws had their 50th wedding anniversary, so they had like a renewal of vows ceremony, and one of my cousins is a prepper, and he had his prep. I'm gonna button up just so look more professional
all right,
for
all
Becky
right.
and
Yeah,
for Lisa.
that's fair. Mhm.
And he had like it wasn't quite camo tactical button-up shirt, but it was close. And so then I was starting to think like, hey, what's a formal outfit for a prepper for a wedding? But that, again, we're going off the rails a little bit.
That's,
I was just thinking of the
I'm
bedazzled
sure.
jacket and then like the prepper
Like I'm
prepper
sure that
formal.
there is a wedding picture somewhere on Pinterest or something that is a camo tuxedo for like a duck hunter or like
Yeah.
a hunting, couple or something, where they did the whole thing in camo. 100%, I'm sure
Like
that
if you had a
exists.
bunch of if you had like 100 preppers and they're all part of a wedding for another prepper, like what would they wear? Was that is that
That
camo?
I feel like it's got to be camo. I mean, this is so here we have the technology. I'm going to
Should we ask
share.
for an image?
Well, yeah. So I just looked. Like, there's camo wedding dresses. Like, but I don't know if that means like you're trying to hide from your like fiance at the wedding, like you want to like blend in and not be seen, or if you're hiding from the guests, like But
I'm gonna ask.
definitely camo is an option.
If 50 preppers were to get together for a wedding ceremony, what would be the stereotypical prepper formal outfit that people would wear? Question mark. Okay, we'll see.
Okay. Um, all right. Well, that was
Generate an image.
bedazzled
With
camels.
sweating.
That's fantastic.
Okay. They're gonna give me an image of it. We'll see what's we'll see
Okay.
what's gonna happen. So
We'll see
that,
what pops up.
yeah.
Um,
I
do
don't know how
you
I was
use?
talking about bedazzled jackets, and that's why I got on that tangent. Sorry. Sorry. Let's get it back together. Sorry.
Okay. Um, have you used? So I'm going to assume that in your line of work, just like with my line of work, we have a lot of like two-factor authentication, password management programs and apps, and there's a variety of them that different companies have you use and that sort of thing. Have you considered using something like that for your own personal password management and stuff at a family level?
No. We have our system for the family understands our we have a certain strategy that we use for passwords. So like technically my
Yep.
wife would be able to figure out what mine are just based off of our and I don't know if I could give too much away on the internet because then someone will take it,
Look,
but
it's password 1 2 3 4. We know it.
yes.
It's yeah. It's 100%.
But we follow a certain algorithm to create it,
Yeah.
and it's
Hmm.
multiple pass. Like not every site has the same password, but we have like this strategy for it. But I haven't, as far as like a two-factor authentication, I haven't thought of that.
Um, okay, so yeah, so I was thinking about because we have a similar thing. We have an algorithms and some logic patterns to create the passwords. Um, what I realized is um, one sometimes when the passwords need to be changed, um, we've got to adjust, and so while there is like parameters within the algorithm, it's not a direct pattern. So depending on which password it was, if let's say I needed to change something, my wife would maybe necessarily know which of the 5 or 6 alternative options I
Mhm.
used for this one. So I've been playing around with 1Password as a like a family password platform to basically take all of the passwords that we use, put them into like the central repository, and then as the kids, for example, as they have passwords and things, they can create their own passwords, but they're automatically shared with
Oh,
us. So when they, switch their
this is getting pretty nerdy already. This is
look,
nerd prep stuff.
it is it's good nerd prep stuff, but it was an evolution of um like we used to have a spreadsheet with like all of the usernames and passwords so that we could have like a backup file if something ever happened to me, for example, and my wife needed to access something.
Yeah.
um she has access to everything. It's not like that sort of a thing. She just doesn't necessarily always remember what they are, and she doesn't pay attention to some of the other like the business passwords that she doesn't ever use. She wouldn't remember what the accounts are anymore. So I have a spreadsheet with all of that. And I was like, I don't love the idea of having a spreadsheet. And now that our kids are getting more things and they're switching their passwords and they're going to have their own stuff, we need a way to be able to still monitor them and have access without checking in with them because they're not going to update the password. They're not going to update the spreadsheet. So 1Password is my new thing. Oh, are they leaving?
I saying
Who's leaving?
Brecky's like she's like I can't deal with this
Oh,
password talk.
okay. All right. You know what,
She called us
Brecky?
nerds.
Wow. Wow. She's like, you haven't seen her in months. She pops in
Just
abuse. It's just bullying and abuse.
it's
It's
yeah.
oh
That's all
my
it.
goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought we were friends. I thought we were friends. Here we are. All
It's
right, well,
rough, rough,
have fun
rough
with the little
crowd
one. Yeah.
tonight. Rough crowd.
Yeah, it was. You know what happened is the chat room, we're interrupting the chat room is what's happening. And so they're revolting against us. Um so yeah, so I'm testing this out to see if there's a way to kind of make that password management more efficient as we start to expand out and have kids that are doing their own thing and you know, we were thinking about things like uh, when our oldest goes off to school or whatever, or when he goes out with his friends or whatever, if he's trying to like order Baja Fresh or something and he wants to use the app and he doesn't have our like family account ID, then okay, I can share it with him or whatever.
Man, ATF coming in with a zinger, I'm sure.
Yeah. Hmm.
This whole chat is nerd prep. I'm so bored. The only thing that'll make it better for you, that's true. That'll work.
Yeah, that's fine.
By the way,
That's fine.
I sent you what AI thinks a prepper wedding, what we would be wearing. It's in your inbox. I could share it here if we want, but
My email box
I,
or
I sent it to your
my.
email box. Yeah,
Okay, hold
I
on. Let
know
me
we have the
grab it.
technology. We have the technology here.
We do have the. Oh, this is fantastic.
So
Okay, hold on.
this is what AI thinks that
This
preppers,
is
if
what
they were to get married, this is what we would wear.
I don't know what to make of this.
I don't know if I disagree. It looks pretty good.
Are we like? Here's where I'm stuck. Are we forest rangers? Are we park rangers? Are we, historically dislike people from another country? Like, what? Where are we with this? What is happening?
Yeah, yeah, I just asked it to like what we would wear, stereotypical prepper wear for with that. So that's
All right. Well, Sutton says you have a
yeah.
lovely
I
evening.
took off a
Enjoy
button.
dreaming about
Okay, yeah,
the unbuttoned cliff,
yeah,
and we'll talk soon.
yeah.
No, that's fantastic. I
I like
AI is amazing. It's terrifying, but also amazing.
yeah.
Which service did you use? Was it ChatGPT or was it?
That was just a ChatGPT.
I love that.
Yeah,
All right. Well, that's fantastic. I feel like look, we had show and tell tonight. Like, there's all kinds of. We covered like 4 or 5 actual topics,
yeah.
and we had show and tell. This is maybe the
And
best show we've ever had.
we had some nice guests in the chat room.
We did.
We got a ATF zinger on us. We had some.
Yeah, like this has been fantastic.
I
I
think they're pretty
I
good
would
for.
say we could retire, but I think more this is a jumping off point. This is we're pulling the nose up on this whole streaming thing.
So I'm looking at next week. Next week should be good too. I think, right? Is that
All right.
we have the?
Yes,
I'm going one day at a time right now to like.
you know what? I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
We're so yeah. All right. We'll plan on next week.
You'll have
We'll
your
plan
people
on Wednesday.
contact my people, and then
Exactly.
make the arrangements.
Yes. Everyone, thanks for joining us. This has been a blast. We will see you hopefully next week on Wednesday. And hopefully it'll be those of us. Have a wonderful rest of your week and weekend. And we will talk to you all soon. Bye, everybody.